So good morning, everyone. Myself, Siva. So I have 9+ years of experience in IT. So from last 4 years, I'm working on the Snowflake and the Azure. Um, yeah, that is pretty much about me. Okay, so before I get started the demo, so before you approached me or before you inquire about the Snowflake, you would have know at least you would have inquired about the Snowflake, right? At least a basic thing. First of all, am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for confirming. Okay. So before you coming to me, before you join this particular course or inquire about this course, you would have inquired. I mean, you just have done a little research on this one, right? Okay. So what is Snowflake exactly? What is Snowflake? Is it a database, or is it a data warehouse, or it's a combination of both, or what exactly this one is? Okay. So I would say this is a data. Snowflake is a database. Okay, so people may ask a question like this. Hey Siva, so we have different databases, right, in market. So how it is different from that databases? So whatever the databases you know in the market, or I can say on-premise databases like Oracle, SQL Server, Teradata, I can say MySQL, Postgres, all these are on-premise databases, I can say. But Snowflake it's a cloud database. That is the first point I would say. It's a cloud database. So we don't have any Snowflake on-premise database. We don't have any on-premise concept here. It's a cloud-based one. Okay. Now, one more thing I wanted to tell you. Okay, if somebody asks, you have to answer like this only. It's a cloud-based data warehouse. It's not a database. Of course, with the recent changes, with the recent announcements, I would say that Snowflake is also a database. Okay, now people may ask, what is the difference between database and the data warehouse? A minute difference is there, a small difference is there between those two actually. I'll try to talk about that one here. Okay, so before I get into that one, you need to understand two terminologies here. One is OLTP, OLAP. These two terminals. Of course, some of the people know this one already. So people who are not from the IT background, people who are not from the database background, I wanted to make them understand actually here. Okay. First, let me try to talk about what is OLTP, what is OLAP, and after that, we'll try to understand Snowflake comes under OLTP category or OLAP category. Guys, everyone, please go on mute. Okay, I'll give you time to ask questions here. Till that time, don't unmute, please. I'll give you time, please. Okay. OLTP, the full form of this one is OLTP is online transactional processing system. The full form of this one is online analytical processing system, I can say. Okay. Now, where do we use this OLTP? Generally, we use this OLTP at the applications end. Applications end in the sense, let me try to give you one example here. If you go to Walmart, okay, now what we'll do is we'll purchase the groceries or whatever items you want, and at the billing counter, they will scan each and every item that you have purchased, and finally they'll give you some bill, physical bill they'll give you. Now, next time if you come to that particular same store, okay, they'll validate against to that bill. Okay, you're saying that okay, so and so good whatever you have purchased, it is having some damage or something, some complaint you're giving on the product. Then they have to validate, right, whether this is correct bill or not, whether this guy is genuine or not, whether this product really he purchased in our store or not. Here they have to validate. That means whatever the goods you're select items you're purchasing there, back end they have to store in some database or not. Yes, that database we call it as a OLTP. Any database which is attached to the application, we call it as a generally OLTP. That is one good example I can say. Okay. So not only that one, if you take insurance companies, let's say you have done renewal of your insurance. Let's say you purchase new insurance. Okay, back end what will happen? You will fill the form in the front end and you will give all the details and you do the payment and you complete the transaction. So back end the transaction will go and sit in a OLTP system. OLTP system. Any application attached with a database, that database we call it as a OLTP. Okay, that is good. What about OLAP? Okay, now once you have the data, let me take Walmart example here. Okay, so I'm keep on appending my data to my database. Okay, every day lot of customers, lakhs of customers are visiting my store, and I'm trying to keep that records in a database. What is the benefit you're going to get with that? Nothing. You will not get anything with that database actually. So ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to analyze the data. You have to improve your business. If at all, if you want to improve your business, you have to analyze the data. So why you have to analyze the data? Okay, which age group people are visiting my store more? Okay, what is that growth rate when you compare with the last quarter that you're getting in this quarter? What is that most selling product in my store? What is that most selling store across the India or US? So that kind of information you have to analyze. Based on that one only, you're going to decide whether to continue your business or whether to stop that business. Let's say Walmart has thousands of stores across the world, right? So they wanted to know the performance of each and every store. Why they have to analyze that one? If any of these store is not performing well, they wanted to close it off actually. They wanted to close that store. They wanted to shut down that store. So if they want to get that information, ultimately they have to analyze some data or not. So from where they are getting the data, that data they are getting from the OLTP, and they are going to analyze that data in OLAP. So they will process the data and they'll store the data in OLAP, and ultimately they're going to build some reports and dashboards on top of it. And on top of that one, they'll take the decision. So what I will say is OLTP and OLAP ultimately, and especially OLAP, I'm talking here. OLAP mainly useful for taking the business decisions. Okay. Okay. Now, so till 1 year back, Snowflake was acting as only OLAP, only OLAP, only for the analytical purpose we used to use actually. Now, last year, June, they announced that, not this year, June, last year, June, they announced that Snowflake can be used as OLTP as well. That means you can attach this particular database to application as well. And you can use this particular Snowflake to store the transactional data as well. Not only analytical data, you can store transactional data as well. That is what the statement they have passed in last year, June. Okay, now I can say that based on their statement, I can say that Snowflake is a database and as well as it's a data warehousing tool. It's a data. If you use only as a OLAP, then we call it as a data warehouse actually. I'm writing in a short form here, DW, data warehouse. Okay, I can say this as a database. See, data warehouse is also a database only. Is also a database. But narrow, very thin line, I can say very thin line is there between this database and data warehouse. The kind of data that we are storing is different here. That's it. That is what I wanted to convey here. Okay, fine. So now you understood what is OLTP and OLAP, and I can say that Snowflake can be used as OLTP and OLAP as well. If somebody asks you what is Snowflake, you have to say that it's a cloud database and data warehousing. Okay, that is one point you have to say. And one more thing is, so provided as a software as a service. Okay, in cloud, we have three types of models actually. Sorry. I'm muting you guys. I'll give you time. Don't worry, please. Okay. Okay. So in here we have three types of models actually. In cloud, you take any cloud here, AWS or Azure or anything. We have three types of model. That is the generic thing actually. Okay. The first one is um, uh, what is that? We have IaaS, PaaS, SaaS are there, right? Okay. So first one is IaaS, IaaS. What is this IaaS? Infrastructure as a service. Okay. And one more thing is PaaS, PaaS, platform as a service. And the last one we have is SaaS. At a high level, I'm talking guys here. Okay. So if you go in deep about this one, we have some more categories. I'm not discussing about those, but a high level, if you ask somebody like what are all the different modeling services are there in the cloud, so people will say about this only. Okay, IaaS, PaaS, SaaS. Okay, now what is this IaaS? What is this PaaS? What is this SaaS? IaaS is nothing but I can say some of the services are provided by cloud. Some of the services are nothing but only infrastructure is provided by the cloud people. So rest of the things we need to take care. Rest of the things means what OS we need to install, what is that runtime we need to install in that particular system, where to store the data, and that details we need to decide from our end, and we need to we can deploy our application in that IaaS. I'll show you. I have a dedicated slide for that. I'll show you whenever I get a time. Okay. So that is nothing but IaaS here. That means only infrastructure is provided by the cloud providers, and rest of the things we have to take care. That means OS installation, application installation, database installation, and everything we need to take care. Okay. In PaaS, actually, infrastructure they are going to provide, and the some of the additional services also they are going to provide. Okay, that means some of the additional services are nothing but they will install database upfront and they'll give you directly that service. So that kind of services we call it as a PaaS. I'll give you in detail about this one, guys. Don't worry. So in ADF we are going to discuss about that one in the ADF introduction. Okay, I'm just giving it high level idea what exactly mean by IaaS and PaaS. Okay, in SaaS actually we don't do anything here. We don't install anything. We don't create anything here. Everything is maintained by cloud providers only. That means we need to create an account with them, with the cloud providers, and we need to start using it. And you don't have any control here. Here, somewhat you will be having control in PaaS and IaaS. But in SaaS, actually, you don't have any control. That means you cannot decide where to store the data, and you cannot control the infrastructure, and you cannot control the application as well here. So everything is controlled by cloud provider only, and you just need to create an account with them, and you can start using that application. Okay, now your Snowflake comes under SaaS category. That means you will not decide where to store the data. You will not decide how to install that Snowflake application. You will not decide, or you don't have any control on the runtime here. That means we need to create an account with the Snowflake and we need to start using that one. And they will take care how to store the data, how to run the data, and like where to store, how to run. They will take care everything here. So what I would say is Snowflake comes under software as a support, that means SaaS category in cloud, with the full support for ANSI SQL. Okay, I would like to tell you one thing here. The prerequisite for this particular course is SQL. without SQL, you cannot survive in real time. That is the clear-cut statement I'm passing here. So people, see, generally people used to call me, hey, I wanted to learn Snowflake. Okay, I have this much years of a gap, or so and so is my background. Can I get into this field or not? Then I would say them, I would clearly tell them, hey, you need to have SQL knowledge. Without SQL knowledge, you cannot survive in the market. Market in the sense, like in the real time, because even though you're working in a Snowflake environment, in day in, day out, from morning to evening, you're going to work with SQL queries only. I'm telling you guys, frankly, I'm telling, nobody will give you this statement directly. So people will say that, some of the trainers will say that, okay, we'll train you, we'll train on you SQL as well. Whatever the SQL we are teaching here, that is more than enough. No, that is not enough actually. That is not enough. The prerequisite for this one is SQL. You have to have knowledge on the SQL. Okay. So some people will ask, hey, do I need to have advanced SQL knowledge? No, not required. At least medium level knowledge is enough. Basic SQL and medium level, little bit advanced knowledge is more than enough. So you don't need to have any PL SQL knowledge, procedural language knowledge here. Only basic SQL and bit advanced topics are required here. Okay. Okay. Moving on. Okay. So Snowflake is not only a database, guys, here. It's not only a data warehouse, I can say. So I can say it is an ETL tool as well. I'll prove that one in the course, don't worry. We'll build ETL pipelines directly in the Snowflake without taking any ETL tool help. We can build it actually. Okay. So we have very famous ETL tools are there in the market, right? Like Informatica is there, ADF is there, Glue is there, like Metilin is there. Like that, we have many ETL tools are there. Generally, in the ETL tools, we have drag and drop components actually, drag and drop activities, I can say. But do we have such kind of drag and drop concept here in Snowflake? No, no. Then Siva, how do you create a pipeline here then? We have to create these pipelines with the SQL commands only. We don't have any drag and drop mechanism here. Okay, we can build the ETL pipelines with SQL commands only. We don't have any drag and drop mechanism, just like your normal traditional ETL tools, I can say. Okay. Now, in a nutshell, I'm telling Snowflake is a database or database and data warehouse, and it's a SaaS. It comes under SaaS solution, and I can say it can act as a ETL tool as well. If somebody asks you what is Snowflake, you have to tell all these points. Okay, fine with that. So let me move on. Okay, so let me try to explain the traditional ETL architecture, where exactly this Snowflake is fitting in this particular architecture. That I wanted to cover here. Okay. Let's try to understand, people who are not from the even from the SQL background or from the not database background, you try to understand. I'll try to give you a good example here. Okay, so let me take here Walmart as an example again. Okay. um okay, so if you go to as I mentioned, right, if you go to Walmart store, right, you'll purchase some items there, and after that you'll go to the billing counter, and they store that data in the backend databases, right? That database, I'm calling it as a OLTP database. I told you already this point. Okay, this is the source for my data actually. This is the source for me actually. This is the source. This is the source, OLTP database. For some of the companies, for some of the clients, we have third-party applications are also as a source. Third-party applications as well. For some of the clients, actually, some web pages are also a client. I can say it's a source. For some of the clients, actually, even cloud may be a source. Like that, every organization, every client, or every company may have different sources here. In our example, in our example, for Walmart, OLTP database is a source. OLTP database is a source. Okay. Now, hey Siva, why don't you analyze the data directly in the OLTP database? Why we need to have again Snowflake database, and why we need to store the data there again? Yes, boss, your point is absolutely valid. We can do analysis directly on the database here. But for analysis purpose, you continuously run your queries, right? You'll do aggregations, you'll run select queries, you'll run filter queries, you'll run lot of things, right? And parallelly, my application is writing the data to this one. Application is writing the data, and on top of that one, you're doing some transactions on top of the database. If you do those kind of activities on the OLTP database, after some time it will die. That means what I would say is, there will be more burden on the OLTP database if you try to do transactions. If you try to do analyze the data on top of OLTP. Lot of SQL select queries we are going to run here for analysis purpose. So system cannot handle here. That is the reason why we have to take separate database for analysis purpose. So that is nothing but your Snowflake. Okay. Now, whatever the data we have in the source database, as it is, we have to extract. No, we have to do some transformations out of it. Okay. Now, best example I'll tell you here. Okay. Here I'm trying to store customer data. So my CEO or like some top management, they wanted to know, which age group people are visiting that stores, Walmart stores, like every day. They wanted to know that age group actually. Based on that one, they wanted to take some decision, business decision. Okay. So in the customer table, I have customer first name, last name, and customer date of birth, and customer address 1, address 2, address 3. They're storing that kind of details. So do I have that age group? Do I have that age group column in the customer table? No, we don't have that one actually. But we have to derive that age group column. How do I derive that one? So you have already date of birth column, right? From the date of birth column, can't we derive the age? Yes, definitely we can do that one. We can do that one. So date of birth year minus current year. You'll get some number. That is nothing but age of the customer. So that you're deriving it actually. You're transforming the existing data. That we call it as a transformation. Okay. So before that one, we need to extract the data, right? So whatever the data we have in OLTP or in the third-party application or in the web application, we need to extract it first. Before you transform, you have to extract it. So that extraction also will do with the help of ETL tool. So we'll do we will first do the extraction. On top of the extracted data, we transform the data. We do transformations. We apply the transformations, and finally we load the data into EDW. EDW full form is Enterprise Data Warehouse. That means at the organization level, you will be having one data warehouse actually. So the best example for this one is Snowflake. So ultimately, consider this is Oracle database. OLTP database is Oracle database. From the Oracle database, you're extracting the data, you're performing the transformations on top of it, and finally loading the data into Snowflake. And on top of that one, what you will do is you'll do reports and dashboards. Reports and dashboards are nothing but we'll give the data to the Power BI or Tableau or ClickView or ClickSense, whatever it is. We'll give the data to them, reporting people, and they will build the reports and dashboards on top of that. Okay. Okay. So before we give them, we can divide this entire data warehouse, I can say enterprise data warehouse, into small data marts. Into small data marts. Okay. So we are doing that one in current project actually. We are building EDW for one of the client, and on top of that one, they requested us to build a data mart. That means that client is having actually different departments. Sales department is there, HR department is there. I can say marketing department is there. Like that, we have different departments. Enterprise data warehouse is common for all the departments actually, but they don't want to keep all the tables at one place. I mean, they don't want to give the access to all the tables to all the departments. They wanted to separate it out actually. Separate it out on the in the sense. So sales table with some dimension table, they wanted to separate it out, and they wanted to give that access to the sales team. So marketing tables and its corresponding dimension tables, they wanted to separate it and give it to the marketing team. Okay, so they wanted to create some other table, fact table, and corresponding to some dimension table, they wanted to give it to some HR team, procurement team, supply chain team. Like that, we have different departments are there. So as per the department, we'll try to divide the logically we are dividing, not physically here. Logically, we are dividing the tables here, and we are building the data marts out of it. So data mart is a subset of the data warehouse here. Subset of the data warehouse. Logically, we are trying to separate the tables here. That we call it as a data mart. On top of the data mart, we can build the reports and dashboards, or directly on top of the data warehouse also, we can build the reports and dashboards. Anything is okay, depending on their requirement, I can say. Of course, in some companies, they may do both also. Both. Okay. Now you understood the ETL architecture here. What exactly mean by ETL? Okay. So here, exactly if you take Snowflake, our role is exactly comes here in this particular I can say area. Okay, up to here I can say, up to here. Okay, reporting. Of course, if you have a knowledge, you can build the reports and dashboards. Or for reporting, generally, you will be having separate team. They will build the reports and dashboards here. Or if you are belongs to, I mean, if you are full stack developer, I can say, I mean, ETL plus this one reporting, you can build end to end everything here. Okay, so we are the data engineers. If you learn Snowflake and if you go as a Snowflake data engineer, if you go as a Snowflake developer, then we call them as a data engineers. Data engineers. We are going to engineer the data from source to till data marts. We are going to build the pipelines. We are going to extract the data, and we are going to transform the data, and we are going to load the data, and we'll do some basic analysis on top of the EDW. So we will be called as data engineers here. Okay, if you are good at even reporting as well, then it will be good actually. I mean, you'll be called as a full stack data engineer. Or even if you're good up to this point, that is okay. Okay, now where exactly this Snowflake is fitting here? Where exactly the Snowflake is fitting here? That is what I'm going to discuss here. Okay, what Snowflake will do in this particular architecture? This is what the Snowflake role. Okay, that means somewhat Snowflake can extract the data, and the transformations and loading we can do with the help of Snowflake. Pure SQL commands we are going to use, guys, here. Pure SQL commands. Okay, so after extracting and transforming and loading the data, we will build the EDW. That means enterprise data warehouse here. On top of that one, if you want, you can build the logical data marts here. We are simply dividing the data as per the department. Okay, and we are going to give that data to the reporting people. This is the role of Snowflake. That means somewhat it can extract the data from the source. Not all the sources actually. Not all the sources, guys. I'm highlighting that point here. So Snowflake cannot talk to all the databases. So somewhat it can talk to some of the sources. Okay, it can extract the data. It can transform fully. Transformations we can do fully here. We can transform the data, and finally we can load that data into Snowflake. It can do ETL activities up to some extent. Not fully, I can say. Up to some extent. That is where I was calling Snowflake also can act as semi-ETL tool. Not full ETL tool, I can say. It's a semi-ETL tool. In our course, we are going to build that pipelines actually. Okay, fine. Next.
One doubt sure here.
Yeah.
Can you go back to that slide?
Sorry, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. This is one-time activity, right? Usually, we'll
Yes.
set up this
Yes.
enterprise database and building the data mods.
Yes. It's a one-time activity. Correct.
I mean, we are new to Snowflake, just and my curiosity I'm asking. As a data engineer, as a I mean, Snowflake developer, you'll build this system. I mean, either
Yes.
data warehouse or data mods.
Yes.
After that,
Yes.
do we have any work, or only this is the basic activity we'll do?
Yes. You'll get enhancements from the source. Let's say client might have migrated to other source system. At that time, whatever the data warehouse you built, right? So you need
Yeah.
to remodify or customize your data warehouse as per the source. And daily you'll get the incremental data, right? Somebody has to monitor that incremental data. Somebody has to validate that incremental data, and they have to monitor the pipelines as well, whether they're executing every day or not. And sometimes you may get data issues for the business users.
Mm.
In that case, you need to backtrack them, and you need to check them why it is failing actually, where exactly it is going wrong, and you need to track them, and you need to ultimately at end of the day you need to make sure that your enterprise data warehouse is stable and running properly.
Okay. You mean after setup also we have to kind of maintain? We
Yes,
have to do it. You
yes,
mean to
yes.
say?
Maintenance, yes, of course.
Okay. 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 Sure.
Okay, yeah. Moving on. Hmm. Okay. What are all the benefits that we are going to get if you take Snowflake when you compare with the traditional databases? Okay. I'll try to compare with the Oracle database guys here because Snowflake is more very close. The syntaxes and everything features very close to the Oracle database actually. Okay. So one of the point that I heard from others is from seniors is um, one of the founder in I can say one of the founder in Snowflake is actually came from the Oracle company. I'm not sure whether this is correct or not, but that's what I heard from my senior people. Okay. So because of that reason, the syntaxes of the Snowflake are very close to the Oracle database syntaxes. Very close. 90% of the SQL commands are like almost same. 90%. Okay. So that is the reason I'll try to compare with the. See, that is not only the reason I'm comparing with this Oracle actually. I mean, most of the people, when I say database, people will assume that Oracle is the database one. That is only the database people think. Okay, many people doesn't know the MySQL is also a database. Like Postgres is also a database, or this one SQL Server is also a database. See, some people they feel that. Okay, so for those people, I'm trying to telling here, comparing with the Oracle here. Okay, moving on. Teradata is nothing but Teradata is actually a data warehouse again. Okay, I'll tell you in the competitors slide. I'll talk about that one. Who are all the competitors for the Snowflake? At that time, I'll talk about the Teradata. Okay, Teradata is a just data warehouse. Netezza is also a data warehouse. So before Snowflake, these two guys actually ruled the market. Mostly Teradata. Most of the market was grabbed by the Teradata actually. Now almost all the Teradata like companies, I mean people who are like using Teradata, they're migrating to Snowflake. You can check with your friends, you can check with your colleagues or any senior people. People are moving towards the Snowflake. Okay, I'll talk about that one anyway. Okay, the first advantage is performance. This is the uh, biggest advantage I can say when you compare with the traditional databases. Okay, you'll feel that one even while in our course actually while executing the queries. You'll feel that one really. And we have for one of the client actually, um, I'll tell you one real-time use case here. One of the client, they wanted to, they did not decide actually, they wanted to move um, into Snowflake. They wanted to move towards the Snowflake, and they already have Azure environment. They already have Azure environment. In Azure side, they have actually Synapse Analytics is one of the services there, that is Synapse Analytics. That is also a data warehouse. That is Azure internal service, I can say. Synapse Analytics. Okay, that is a Azure data warehouse. Okay, and they are not using that one. They wanted to move. They could not able to decide. They wanted to move either to data Synapse Analytics or Snowflake. Okay, I belongs to Snowflake practice actually. Some people are there who are there. They belongs to Azure practice in our company. I mean, in our project I'm talking here. Okay, so client has come and asked us, hey, we wanted to migrate our Oracle data warehouse into either Synapse Analytics or Snowflake. Okay, can you guys give me the advantages that I'm going to get if I move towards the Snowflake? The advantages that I'm going to get if I move towards the Azure Synapse Analytics. Okay, and we took 1 GB of data, not 1 GB, 10 GB of data, and we did some transformations and we loaded that data into target tables, and we did that POC actually in the Azure and as well as in the Snowflake. Okay, Snowflake is far better than the Azure, cost wise and as well as speed wise and as well as I can say performance wise. We proved that actually. We proved that actually. Okay, so performance too is too good actually. Okay, let me tell you one more example here. Let's say if you want to insert 1 million records into Oracle database or SQL Server database, whatever you take traditional databases, how long it is going to take? It is going to take 10 to 15 minutes. Let's say, let's consider you have huge, very good configuration. Let's consider it is going to take 15 to 20 minutes. You know, to insert the same 1 million records into Snowflake, hardly it is going to take 1 minute. Hardly it is going to take 1 minute. Okay, that is for insertion performance. Let's say if you want to like query 1 million records, let's say I have backend 1 TB table. I wanted to query the data from that table. Okay, if you want to query the data from Oracle, then your Oracle will die for some time. It will die. Definitely, I'm taking with real-time experience. I'm telling guys here. I used Oracle extensively. I came from the Oracle background only. If the table size is huge, and if you're trying to write SQL queries on top of that one, the database will cry like anyway. But if you do the same activity in Snowflake, within milliseconds, within seconds, I can say, Snowflake is going to give the data. That is the advantage. I'll show you that one. I'll show you. In our course, actually, we'll try to insert 1 billion records in one of the use case. There you will understand how long it is going to take, how much it is going to take to execute that query, to execute that insert command, or to query the data from that 1 billion records. Okay, before Snowflake actually, we have Hadoop also came into the market for storing. I can say for storing the data, for I can say for processing the data. I can say our Snowflake is even faster than that. Definitely, definitely. Okay, so that is the one biggest advantage with the Snowflake. Next, concurrency. Okay, let me take again Oracle example here. Let's say I have two users in Oracle, two users, user 1, and user 2. User 2. Okay. User 1 is trying to, he has prepared one complex query on the database, complex query with a lot of aggregations and join conditions and filter conditions and a lot of things. He has prepared one complex query and he's trying to run that query against to the database. Against to the database. At the same point of time, user 2 also trying to run the, execute the query against to the database. So my database is already serving this user 1. This guy is already serving this guy. Okay, user 1. And when user 2 is trying to run the query, so the database has to wait until this user 1 has to complete the query. Or it can parallelly serve user 2 as well, but it is very slow because it is already giving that threads, or it is already executing user 1 queries. The performance is too slow here. When multiple users are trying to run the queries concurrently, the database will cry actually. It cannot concurrently give the threads. It cannot concurrently serve the multiple users or multiple people. Okay, but if you take Snowflake here, even 1,000 people are running the queries concurrently, no issue at all, no performance degradation at all. Even 1 lakh people also can run the queries concurrently. That is purely because of its architecture. I'm going to discuss that architecture in some time. Don't worry. That is the biggest advantage I can say. Concurrently, you can run the queries. Any number of people can fire the queries. That is the advantage. And next, elasticity. So what we'll do here is, so we have one concept actually, that is virtual arrows concept. I'll talk about that one maybe in the further classes. Don't worry about that one. So let's say you're going to store the data in a database, right? Database is nothing but it's a kind of hard disk in the backend. Database is nothing but a hard disk. Okay. So in order to get the data from the database, you need to have some processor, right? Generally in the traditional databases, Oracle database will try to install in a server. Oracle database will install in a server. The database data will store back in a hard disk, HDD disk. And you're going to get the data using RAM and processor. When you query the, when you try to fire a query, select star from table, that data you're going to get with the help of RAM and the processor. You need to have RAM and processor definitely to get the data. So here, since this is cloud, right, we don't have any RAM and processor here. Then how you're going to get the data? So backend, they are going to create some virtual warehouses. Virtual warehouses. That is nothing but a system again. System again. Okay. So generally the sizes are like this: extra small, okay, small, medium, large, 2x, 3x, like that. We have different sizes. Okay. At any point of time, you can increase the size from extra small to small. Size small means more number of servers will be involved here to execute your query. Medium means few more servers will get added here to serve your query. So at any point of time, you can increase the hardware here. But in traditional databases, once you install any database in a system, can you go ahead and increase that one? Increasing it hardware is so easy? No. But in cloud, especially in Snowflake, increasing the hardware or increasing the capacity of the hardware is just it is so easy, I can say. Just like that, you can increase the hardware at any point of time. So that is what I call it as a elasticity. If you don't want that hardware, you can decrease that one at any point of time. That means as per your requirement, you can increase the hardware capacity, you can decrease the hardware capacity. That we call it as the elasticity. So that is what I'm trying to say here. Instant scaling up. Instant. That means if you have decided to increase the hardware, yes, you can decrease right away. If you want to decrease that one, yes, decrease it right away.
Siva,
So, yeah.
Sorry for that interrupt. I have one query for that because I don't know about the Snowflake, so that is the reason. So it is the real-time scenario. Do we need to scale up or scale down?
Yes, we have to do that one.
But you told right in the Snowflake it is provided as a software as a service. We don't want to
Yes,
install
that will automate it. That's what I'm going to tell. If you want, you can do it manually, or you can automate it actually. Snowflake will take care of that one in the backend.
So both the cases we need to work, or we need to.
Yes. Manually also we need to understand, like automatic way also we need to understand.
Okay, that's what my okay.
Yeah, definitely we have to. We'll understand that one once we get into virtual resources concept. Every pinpoint I'm going to discuss there.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. At any point of time, you can increase the hardware, you can decrease the hardware. I can say instantly. So that we call it as a elasticity. That is the biggest advantage with the Snowflake again. Okay. And next one, simplicity. Very minimal configuration. See, if you compare again this one with the traditional databases, you have to have lot of administration in the case of traditional databases. Okay, I'll tell you one simple example here. If you want to, if you have decided to install a database in a server, you have to purchase a server, and you have to decide what is that RAM size, what is that hard disk size, what is that processor you need to purchase from the vendor. Okay, after purchasing that one, you need to put that in a room. Okay, so since this is server with high configuration, it dissipates some energy in the form of heat. So for that, again, we need to maintain cooling fans. To take care of all the cooling fans and the ACs, again, we need to have one, like I can say, engineer. And to check the performance of that particular server, we need to have 24/7. Somebody has to monitor that, and we need to provide the continuously network, and we need to provide the continuously power supply. Go on mute, please. Please, I'll give you time, please. So to monitor it continuously, we need to have 24/7 people on duty. So all those things are required actually in the case of traditional databases. In Snowflake, nothing is required. You don't need to configure anything. You can store unlimited data in the cloud. Nobody will stop you. Okay, and you can take the sizes of the hardware. Virtually, it is unlimited. Virtually, it is unlimited. Almost you can take here 1024 systems to query your data. 1024 systems. Okay, and you don't need to maintain any network here, and you don't need to maintain any power supply, and you don't need to monitor the performance of the Snowflake. But in the traditional databases, all those things are required. But in Snowflake, nothing is required. They will take care of everything in the backend. For that only we are paying for them. Let them take that headache. Why do we worry about that? So very minimal configuration is required. And of course, no tuning is required here, guys. Okay, no tuning is required here. Almost performance tuning is zero, I can say. But in traditional databases, you have to tune the queries. You have to write the optimized queries. But in Snowflake, it's not like that. So by default, it stores the data in a optimized way. That is the beauty with the Snowflake. Okay, it is very simple, I can say. And last one, in order to become a master of Snowflake, you don't need to have any special skills. You need to have only SQL skills. That's it. That is more than enough. That is more than enough. Okay, and no need to learn any new skills here. Of course, that's what I told you. And of course, one more point I wanted to highlight, guys, here. Recently, people started asking Python as well, because in Snowflake, actually, recently they introduced one feature called Snowpark. Snowpark. The feature is called Snowpark. 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 You know what is this? You know what is this? Snowflake with PySpark, I can say. Spark, I can say. Snowflake and Spark combination. That Spark they implemented either in Scala, Python, or Java, whatever you want. So mainly we are going to use Python. So for implementing the applications in Spark, actually, people started asking Python. If you are entering into the market first time now with this course, you don't need to have the Python skills. It's better to have Python skill. It's better. It's not mandatory. I'm saying it's not mandatory. It's better to have, because we are going to use this data extensively in the data science applications, data science algorithms. Since those people started using the Python, slowly that culture came into the data engineering as well. Okay, so at least not now, going forward, once you get into the market, once you get the job, slowly you try to learn the Python. Slowly you have to learn it. Someday you have to learn it, but not now. If you're already in the market, and if you're upskilling your your knowledge here, or you're already from the database background, you're learning the Snowflake here for upskill purpose, then better to have knowledge in Python as well. People are literally asking the Python in the interviews, literally asking. It's better to have, but it's not mandatory, guys. I'm telling. Still, you can get into the market with the Snowflake knowledge. No problem with that. Nobody will stop you. But it's good to have. Of course, SQL is mandatory. Without SQL, you cannot survive at all. You cannot even spend even one day also in the company without SQL. You have to have the knowledge in SQL. No shortcut for that. No alternative for that. You cannot escape from that. But one thing I can say is, you try to learn SQL and Snowflake parallelly. SQL is the easiest one, actually, I can say, in the market. Easiest language. You can learn both the things parallelly. If you're good at SQL, if you're good at any database, see, when I say SQL, it can be any SQL. You may be having knowledge in Oracle SQL, SQL Server SQL, Teradata SQL, whatever it is. All the SQLs are same. 90% they are same. 90% of the syntaxes and concepts are same here. Only 10% syntaxes and concepts will vary from database to database. You have to have SQL knowledge. That's it. It can be anything. Okay. That is one point. See, nobody will tell you in the market these points. I mean, you need to have Python skill. You have to have mandatorily SQL knowledge. Nobody will tell you. People will say that. People will blame that. Whatever the SQL we are going to teach in the Snowflake, that is enough. And with that knowledge, you can survive in the market. No, you cannot do that. I'll prove that one if you want. I'll prove. You cannot survive, guys. Really, I'm talking. Don't believe that kind of words from others. Okay. That is about that benefits, actually. Let me move on here. Let me discuss the architecture also here. Okay. And here I wanted to show you that the companies that they are using Snowflake. Today morning I was visiting the Snowflake website. I've observed that there are more than 7,000 customers are there for the Snowflake, actually. See, this is the one, actually. 7,200 customers who are using Snowflake. Okay. Across the globe. Not in India, not in US, actually. Across the globe. 7,200 customers are there. It's a huge number, actually. Okay. That is one thing. And one more thing I wanted to tell you here is, these are all the customers, actually. All topmost companies are using Snowflake here. So Carrier, like it's an ACS company. Porter, this is the, I can say, the luggage shifting company. like that we have many companies are there. Most of the top companies using Snowflake. So if you want to go through the list here, this is the official documentation of the Snowflake guys here. I'm not giving this statement here. This is not my own. I'm not listing all these companies here. I'm not giving this list actually. This is official Snowflake website. Snowflake.com/en by Snowflake customers, all customers. This is the official website actually. So they are into every industry almost. They're into media. Snowflake people are there into media. They're into finance. They're into healthcare. They're into manufacturing. They're into public sector. They're into retail. They're into technology. They're into telecom. Okay, they're everywhere, I can say. People slowly started moving their data warehouse towards the Snowflake. Slowly they're moving. Market is too good now. Okay, of course, from last 1 year, the market is not good for every technology. That is not because of the other things actually. Of course, that is depending market conditions, US market conditions. Because of that US market conditions, the recruitment has become a bit slow here. Otherwise people will definitely they could have moved. The number could have increased a lot. Okay, once the market is get up, actually, people definitely will start using the. I mean, they'll move towards the Snowflake. Definitely, that number will increase. Definitely, that is what my gut feeling here. Okay, so that is one thing I wanted to tell you here, and one more thing. Okay, yeah. So let me try to discuss about the architecture part. This is very important one actually. Okay, the architecture also I'll try to discuss in the Snowflake website only. Okay, this is also Snowflake official documentation. Okay, I'll talk about this one also a little later. Okay, first let me discuss about the architecture part. Guys, please try to focus here. Try to focus here because this is very important interview question as well. In every interview, almost 90% of the interviews they'll ask this question. Okay. So basically, we have 3 layers in the Snowflake architecture. 3 layers. One is database storage layer. Second one is query processing layer. Third one is cloud service layer. I'll talk about one by one layer here. Okay, I'm coming to the database storage layer. Okay. Now, Snowflake has any dedicated, okay, when you try to store some data in a Snowflake, how exactly it is storing the data? Where exactly it is storing the data? Can anybody tell that point? Can you guys guess it? Where exactly it is storing the data? See, ultimately, this is a database or data warehouse, right? Somebody, they have to store the data. Ultimately, there's some storage, right? Now, where exactly they're storing the data? Snowflake is a company, that's it.
Any cloud providers?
Yeah, of course. Oh, okay. So your point is absolutely correct here. So Snowflake people are a third-party company actually. They don't have any dedicated database storage or compute power. They don't have any dedicated storage. They don't have any data centers. They don't have any cloud, I can say. It's an application. Snowflake is an application. That's it. They've written in some language. I feel that they've written in a Spark. I used to feel that actually. But because most of the similarities I found between Spark and the Snowflake. They've written in. I mean, I'm feeling that one. Officially, they did not announce anywhere. I feel that one. They've written in a Spark. Okay. So it's an application. That's it. Okay. Once you try to store that data in a Snowflake, where exactly they're going to store? Now, we are going to deploy this particular application either in AWS, okay, or Azure or GCP. We have to take any of the cloud provider help and we need to store the data. I'll show you that one here. Somewhere I opened that link also. Let me show you that one here. Yeah, this is the one. One second, yes. Okay, Snowflake is available on AWS, Azure, and Google. These are the famous public cloud providers in the market. These three people. Famous public cloud providers. We can deploy our Snowflake application in any one of the cloud. Not on all the clouds actually at a time. In any one of the cloud. In over 20 regions across the globe. 20 plus regions are there. Okay. Okay. So we can use either AWS or Azure or GCP. Any of the cloud you can use happily. Okay. That you can decide at the time of account creation. Snowflake account creation. Tomorrow I will show you how to create an account, and I'll walk you through the UI as well. How to execute a query and what are all the different options you can see the UI. That and all I'll explain tomorrow. Okay, so before that one, we need to understand you can deploy the Snowflake cloud in any one of the cloud. I'm telling you this point, guys. Once again, many people doesn't know this point actually. Snowflake people doesn't have any dedicated cloud or dedicated compute power. They don't store their data in their own cloud. They don't have, first of all, cloud. They have to depend on this cloud only, either Azure or GCP or AWS. Okay. Okay. So that is first point. Okay. So what I can say is if you choose AWS as a cloud provider, now where they are going to store the data? If you choose AWS as a cloud provider, where they are going to store the data? Any guess here? So AWS is a cloud, right? So it has one service called storage service called S3. It has a service called S3, simple storage service. So once you create a Snowflake account with AWS, you're going to store ultimately your data in S3 buckets, the backend, and they will not expose the data to you. They will not show you the data. And you will not get any access to that S3 data. You can query that one, but you will not able to see that actually. If you choose Azure as a cloud provider, then you can store your data in Azure Blob, BLOB, binary large objects, in Azure Blobs. And next one, if you choose GCP as a cloud provider, then you can they are going to store the data in GCP buckets. That Snowflake will take care. We don't need to worry about that one. Where to store, how to create that bucket, how to create that blob, and what data to store in which storage account. That and all they'll take care in the backend. You don't need to worry about that. You go and simply create a Snowflake account and you start like writing the data to the table. That's it. You create a table, start writing it. Backend they will take care how to write that one, where to store that one, how to manage that like a failover, and that and all they will take care. Okay, and you can store here unlimited data. You can store unlimited data. Nobody will stop you. Hey Siva, you have to store only 1 TB of data, 2 TB of data, 100 TB of data. We have only that limitation. We don't have that limitation, guys. Here it's a cloud. Virtually it is unlimited. Daily you store 100 TB of data. No, they will not stop you. You need to pay rent for them. That's it. For storing the data, you need to pay rent. That's it. You'll not do any apart from that any other thing here. Okay, so they're charging the storage also very cheap here, very cheap. For hardly they're storing for storing 1 TB of data. For 1 TB of data, hardly they're charging $46. $46 hardly for 1 TB. This is very cheap, I can say, when you compare with the other clouds. We compared this one with the Azure as well, Azure Data Warehouse as well. when we compare this one with this is dead cheap, I can say. Dead cheap. Hardly they are charging $46 one. Okay. That is one thing. That is about the data storage layer.
Will they, you mean they have charged $46, right? Is it for monthly or
month basis, monthly rental, I can say. Monthly rental. Per month they'll charge $46. Okay. You'll understand that one. Don't worry. Going forward, you'll understand that one. Okay. I'll teach you the pricing options as well. Okay. Next, query processing. And at any point of time, I told you, right, we can store like 1 TB, 2 TB. You can increase the storage as per your requirement here. I mean, you don't need to give any heads up here to the cloud people. You can start storing the data. That's it. They'll charge as per that one only, as per the storage that you're occupying. Okay. And second one is query processing. Okay. So once you store the data in a database, you need to, okay, ultimately, like Snowflake is acting as a OLEP, right? For analytical purpose, right? Data analysis purpose, right? So we need to query the data, right? For analysis purpose. We have to run a hell lot of select queries here. Hell lot of select queries. So for selecting the data, for retrieving the data, we need to have some hardware. We need to have some processor and RAM. That hardware is nothing but this virtual warehouse. Okay, you will pick up the raw data from this particular layer. You'll process that later data in this particular layer. Process means you'll apply some aggregation, some min, max, group by, all those transformations you'll do in a query processing layer. Who is going to do that one? Virtual machine is going to do that one here. Virtual machine is nothing but it's a compute power. Virtual machine is nothing but it's a system with some RAM and processor. That's it. That is going to do that activity actually. Okay. And okay, so the entire data you're going to process in this particular layer. And after that, whatever the queries you're writing, that query is syntactically correct or not. Okay. So how to scan, like backend, it is going to store the data in a partitions. What partitions it has to scan? Whether the username and password correct or not, everything will be decided in the third layer called cloud service layer. Okay, I don't talk much about this one here because in every topic I'll try to link with this particular layer on. Every topic I'll try to take the Snowflake architecture and I'll tell you what happened in the backend when you try to execute a query. Okay, now I'll come back to this one, query processing layer. Okay, here at any point of time you can increase the hardware, like 1 server, 2 servers, 4 servers, 8 servers, 16 servers, 32 servers, up to like that 1024 servers you can spin up for executing your query. Generally, for our requirements, 1 server or hardly 2 servers or hardly 4 servers are more than enough. Even if we have petabytes of data. Like that, it can provide 1024 servers to execute your query. That is too huge actually. Too huge. Okay. And there is no rule that if you try to increase the hardware here, there is no rule that you have to increase the storage. And I would say that these two layers are independent to each other. Independent to each other means if you are increasing the storage here, you don't need to increase the hardware. If you're increasing the hardware here, you don't need to increase the storage. Both storage and hardware, both are independent to each other. This is separate service in the cloud provider. This is separate service in the cloud provider. This is the biggest advantage with the Snowflake. This is what we call it as a hybrid architecture in Snowflake. Hybrid architecture in the Snowflake. Okay. So anyway, cloud service layer, I'll try to explain later in the further classes. Every pinpoint I'll explain here. Don't worry. At a high level, I can say that there are 3 layers are there in the Snowflake. First one is the database storage layer. Second one is the query processing layer. Third one is the cloud service layer. When you execute a query, first request will come to the cloud service layer. Cloud service layer will go and request the query processing. Your virtual heroes will go and scan the data from the database. And after that, virtual heroes will give that data back to the users. So it's a cyclic process actually. I'll discuss that cyclic process in the further classes. At high level, you try to understand here. So backend, they are going to store their data in a cloud providers storage service, and they will try to take the help from the for retrieving the data. They will try to spin up the virtual machines in the cloud query processing layer. So you'll take the raw data from the database and you'll process the data in a query processing layer, and ultimately you're going to give the data in a to the front end, that is to the user, with the help of cloud service layer. That's it. So this is the architecture of the Snowflake. Okay, so that is one thing. Okay, I'll give you time, guys, again here. So I'll tell you the highlights of the course that I'm going to cover here. Okay, the timelines and everything, fees part and everything I'll talk here. Please try to concentrate here. I'm going to cover Snowflake and ADF, Azure Data Factory. I mean, some of the people, they don't know what is ADF also. I'm trying to tell you here. So only ADF will take almost, sorry, not what ADF, only Snowflake actually. It will take almost 50 days. Snowflake will take almost 50 days. 50 days. If I try to cover every day 1.5 hours, the classes will be from Monday to Saturday. Saturday, I'll take 2 hours of time. Remaining days, I'll try to take 1.5 hour time. Okay, I'll try to spend enough time. So if you want, I can show you the previous batch recordings as well. I spent almost 60 plus hours only on the Snowflake. 60 plus hours only on the Snowflake. I covered almost 70 hours, I think, close to 70 hours. I'll show you once I'm done with the demo. I'll try to show you that one. Okay. So hey Siva, how you're different from the other trainers or other institutes? I'm telling you point. I'm not belongs to any institute. I don't have any institute actually. I'm the personal with my own interest. I'm teaching all these things actually. Teaching is my passion actually. Here, I dealt almost 19 batches so far. Your batch is 20th batch. I started all these batches exactly 3.5 years back. 3.5 years back. Okay. So I used to teach initially only Snowflake. I used to complete within 45 days. Within 45 days. Now, after that, I started improvising my content and I started covering almost all the topics in the Snowflake. And it started like increasing the number of hours also. Now I'm covering almost 70 plus hours only for the Snowflake. You call any institute or any trainer in the market. I'm giving a challenge. You call any trainer, any institute in the market. You Google it and you call them and you inquire about their course and their thing actually, their content. Okay. And ask them how many hours they are going to cover. Hardly they are going to tell you 40 hours, 30 to 40 hours. Hardly. Okay. In that 30 to 40 hours, you know what they are going to tell? 10 to 15 hours they are going to cover only for the SQL. 10 to 15 hours. So if you do minus, okay, I'll try to do minus of minimum value here. So maximum value here. So 40 minus 10, they are going to spend only 30 hours on the Snowflake. That's it. But here, I will not teach SQL. I will not teach SQL. Before you come to the course, you have to learn the SQL, or you can learn parallelly also SQL. That is the straight point I'm telling here to everyone. Only Snowflake, I'll try to cover 70 plus hours here. Every pinpoint I'm going to cover here. Every pinpoint. Okay. So whatever the syllabus that I'm going to cover, right? So with that syllabus, you can complete the certification easily without taking any other help, any outsider's help. Now you guys know people are started like other people are attempting your exams, your certification exam. Many people know that one. Without that one, you guys can attempt it easily. Last week also, one of the student completed the certification on his own, and he has pinged me and he has told me. I was very proud for that one. And he met me this weekend. Last Friday he came to me, and he has completed that certification very easily. So that is the benefit you are going to get. And one more thing is, whatever the content that I'm going to cover here, that is more than enough to crack any interview. Still I'm telling here, people are not going out of our content. If you still get any new question, you may get that question from the new features only, definitely not from the existing features of the Snowflake. Okay, I'll give you time, don't worry. Hold on, don't talk please. Yeah, definitely from our content only, you can crack easily any interview. That guarantee I'm giving. Okay, so this is about the Snowflake. And the next, so previously, like I can say 2 years back, even if you know Snowflake spelling, they used to take actually. If you know Snowflake spelling, they used to take into the company. Okay, that was too easy to get into the company at that time. Too easy. Okay, because they used to ask only basic questions and they used to take it actually. Now people started asking ETL tool knowledge as well. Okay, that is the reason why I am introducing here ADF. Okay, now you may ask a question, Shiva, why did you take only ADF here? Why not other tools, other ETL tools? Boss, I'm telling you one point clearly here. If you learn one ETL tool, all the ETL tools are very easy, damn easy, I can say. Okay, you're saying that, okay, damn easy. Then why you especially choose only ADF? Because along with the Snowflake, you need to have at least one cloud knowledge, either AWS or Azure or GCP. At least you need to have one cloud knowledge. That is mandatory. Okay, if I'm able to give the tool which is there in the out of these three clouds, people at least will get into the cloud. They'll come to know the cloud. Hey, Azure is a cloud, so they're providing these are all services. So at least if you know ADF, you can confidently say that, okay, I know the cloud, I have the knowledge on the cloud. You can claim that one happily. For that reason, I started this ADF. No special reason behind that one. This is only the reason. Okay, that is one point. And coming to this one, market, still the market is good. Of course, I'm not highlighting the Snowflake here. Market is bad nowadays for all the technologies, not only for Snowflake. Market is, if the market is up, see, people are expecting after January, market will get up. Market will be up. So once the market is up, you have to be ready with one, at least one your Snowflake content. Then you can get into the market very easily if you're ready. Okay, and the pay scale for Snowflake is too good actually, too good. I have examples. I don't want to discuss that one at this point of time. I have real examples with me. The people like my students from which package to which package they went. I know, and I've seen their successful journey with my eyes. Okay. If you don't believe me, you can go and ask your friends or your seniors or any of your relatives how the Snowflake salaries are. Okay. And along with that one, that is about the market actually. It is too good actually. And if you enter even at this point of time, you can easily survive. And this technology will be there definitely for next 5 to 6 years. Technology will be enhancing. It is changing day by day, guys. So currently, no competitor for the Snowflake currently in the market. So this will be there definitely for the next 5 to 6 years. That is what my gut feeling. Okay. And I'm going to cover one end-to-end project. End-to-end project with ADF and Snowflake. So even for your previous batch also, I've covered that project. Almost I covered 15 hours of the content. 15 hours of the content. And along with that one, I'm going to cover here 20 to 30% of the Databricks content. 20 to 30%. Databricks is also a third-party company where we are going to deploy in any of the cloud. Databricks also very famous tool in the market to process your data. That also I'm going to cover as part of this course. As part of this course. Okay. As part of the project, we are going to cover it actually. And remaining what are all the basics are required for this Databricks, right? That basics I'm already running separate batch for the Databricks actually. What are all the things required for the Spark, right? That videos I'm going to share with you guys, so that I can cover at least 70-80% of the Databricks as well. Now, if you are good with the you'll be good with the Snowflake. You'll good with the ADF, and you'll be good with the Databricks as well. Now you will be called as end-to-end data engineer. Market, if you want to survive, you need to have Spark knowledge as well. So that Spark knowledge I'm going to give with this Databricks actually. Okay. And for your batch especially, we planned last week only. That guy is also there in this group. Okay. So we are planning to start free Python course. I'm not boosting it, guys, here. I'm not boosting anything here. We don't want to teach it as for a free of cost actually. But initially we thought, okay, let's give up. Let's give up. So after once the Snowflake class is over, maybe at evening time or morning time, we are going to give you Python class as well. So separate instructor is there in this group actually. So he is going to teach, he is going to take whatever is required for your real time, whatever the knowledge is required for your real time, that is going to teach. So that duration also will be almost 45 days. Basics, what are all the basics are required for data engineering? That is going to cover definitely with free of cost. We are not going to charge anything for that. Anything for that. Okay. And one more thing, I'm telling this one publicly here. The fees would be, and the duration also I'm talking here. Duration solidly we are going to spend 3 months, guys. Solid 3 months. 3 months. I'm telling you one point here. If you don't have a patience to wait for 3 months and learn for 3 months, you can quit from the group. No problem. I don't have any problem. If you don't maintain consistency in these 3 months, you will not get any success. That I'm writing in a bond paper and I'll give you. If you don't maintain the consistency, if you don't have the time, or if you don't have that patience, you can quit from the group. No problem. If you want to become a success in this career actually, especially in the data engineering, and if you want to upskill, you have to concentrate 3 months. You have to do that one. Solidly we are going to spend 3 months. including the project. I can cover easily. I can tell only 5 to 6 10 to 15 topics. I can cover with, everything within 40 days, and I can say that okay, batch is over. But I'm not like that. So what I feel is every time once any student come to me, and you should not take any other's help actually. He has to have enough knowledge, whatever he's taking from me. He has to have whatever the knowledge that I'm going to give, that is more than enough to get into the real time, to get into the to survive in the real time. You should not take any help from others. That is what my feeling actually. So I'm confidently saying that here, after this particular training, you can definitely survive in the market without taking anyone's help. That I'm pretty sure. I have lot of examples with me, lot of real cases with me. Many of my students came to me for the proxy. You know, many people know the proxy. I converted them. I did not take any proxy from. I did not do that proxy. I have like trained them. I motivated them, and I made them to crack the interviews on their own. I have lot of success stories. If you want, I can give the phone numbers of them. No problem at all. Because I'm not telling any lies here. Okay, so that is one thing. And one more thing is, you can attend these sessions till Friday, till Saturday. Mostly I'm going to take till Saturday, 1.5 hour classes only. You decide after that only. Till that time, nobody will ask you a single rupee from you. Nobody will ask you. You decide. If you are 100% satisfied, then only you can continue. Otherwise, you don't need to continue. You can quit at any point of time. Now also you can quit it. No problem. So, like I can say that we don't call you why you're quitting. We don't call you why you're not taking the coaching from us. I don't bother about all these things actually. We don't have the time. Okay. So that is about that. And one last point is fees would be 15,000 I'm charging for the entire 3 months. Please guys, here I'm requesting, my humble request here. My humble request, please do not bargain. Please do not bargain. Because I'm telling you here, see, I should not expose this fees details here, but I'm still exposing. This is the first batch I'm exposing the fees details here. I never exposed, so far I did not expose these fees details for any of the batch. I used to ask them to call me or message me in the WhatsApp, and I used to check with them their capability, and based on that I used to charge them. Now I decided here, please do not bargain, because I'm solidly spending 3 months of time with you guys. So whatever the you're going to pay 15,000, I'm going to do justice for every rupee that you're going to pay. I'm telling you, every rupee. I'll do justice for every rupee. So for 15,000, this much of content, nobody will give you outside. If you want, you can go and check that one. No problem. I don't have any problem. Course content also I posted in the group actually. You can go and like verify that with other institutes or other trainers and check it. And once you are satisfied with that, and you come back to me. No problem. Okay. Yeah. That's all from my end. If you have any questions, you can ask me.
Hi Shiva, Bharat here.
Yeah, Bharat.
As you said, we can crack the interviews after this course, right?
Yes,
So,
yes.
I mean, whether we'll be in a position saying that like a more than beginners.
Okay. I forgot to tell that point actually. If you attend the classes regularly, conditions I'm telling guys. If you attend my classes regularly, if you practice it regularly, okay, you will get 3 years of knowledge. The guy who has 3 years of knowledge in Snowflake, how much knowledge he has, right? That much of knowledge he is going to get. That is not the statement given by me. That is the statement given by my students. I told you right here, last week, one of the students met me right here. He only made that statement. Sir, even real-time guys also, they could not able to give some suggestions to the manager. I have given that suggestion to my manager. My manager was very impressed. That is what the statement is given by him. If you want, I can give the phone number of that guy. You can talk to him. You will get 3 years of knowledge, knowledge, definitely.
Okay. Apart from that, one more thing. Will you help in the resume preparation? I mean,
Yes,
how to
yes.
fulfill this,
I'll
those
help
kind of things,
in
right?
resume preparation. Yes.
Also the assignments.
Assignments every day for your batch. I don't have that culture. I don't have that concept actually till this batch. But for your batch especially, I wanted to start the assignments as well. I'll
Okay,
give every day.
Thank you. And then Python also will start after a week, right? You said.
After a week, it will start.
Okay, thank you, Shiva.
Once we finalize the batch, right, we'll start that Python batch.
Okay.
Okay. And if you want to take the SQL training, I do have separate trainer for that actually. She used to charge 3,000 for that actually. I'm not asking you guys to take the training. It's your wish whether to take the training or not. Okay, she's also my colleague actually, and you can't, if you want, still you can take training with her. That is separate charge actually. That is not included in my training actually. Okay, we both are colleagues. Based on, she got settled because of this course only, and she started SQL course after that. If you want to take the training, you can take with her, no problem. Okay, you can parallelly learn that one as well. Sorry? Sorry?
Hello?
Yeah.
When are we going to start the classes from?
Which
SQL to
class? SQL, huh? SQL,
this
I'm not
one
sure. I have to check with her. Maybe like when I checked with her last time, maybe she's going to start from the next week, I think so.
Okay. And you? This classes?
These
Snowflake
classes
class?
will continue, right? This is the real classes only.
Okay. You just start. I thought it was demo.
This is the demo. This is the demo only today.
Okay. Like
Demo, and we'll continue for the continuously like this one every day.
okay.
So till Saturday, you guys can attend.
Okay.
And after that, you guys can decide whether to continue this course or not.
Okay. I'll contact you directly then.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
And any planned breaks are there, Shiva, for this course?
Yeah. In February, I thought to take 1 week of break actually. I'll let you know based on my plan.
Actually, yeah, that makes sense
February,
for us.
not in January, in February only. Once I complete this Snowflake course, then I'll take a break of 1 week because that is a planned one actually. I'll let you know that one, but not at finalized.
Okay, thank you, Shiva.
Are you going to provide recording videos, Shiva?
Yes, every day we are going to provide the recording videos.
Okay.
Every day. Once completion
even
of the class.
Today class recording will be available.
Today's video also I'll share. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. That's what I was about to ask.
Shiva, am I audible?
Yeah.
So this is Kalyan.
Yeah.
So as I asked you earlier, so are you going to provide any material kind of thing, anything?
Yes.
So I'm expecting why, because so running class is okay, but somehow after a few days, if you want to refer, go back and refer, it would be helpful for us.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. And one more thing, so which database they're going to provide for the SQL?
SQL Server.
SQL Server. Okay, thank you. And I have one doubt, Shiva.
Yeah.
So what is the main benefit for migrating to Snowflake from the Teradata? Actually, I
Costing
came
and
here
performance.
to
Costing and
my
performance,
project also
both.
already was implementing. So I'm also going to implement the changes in my project
Mm.
in the next 1 or 2 months. Okay.
Mhm.
So that's what only I came here to learn the things.
Mhm.
So I wanted to know what is the exact improvisation we used to get it.
Co- Cost and performance. Only two reasons.
Okay. So actually I am working for Teradata from past 8 years. Okay. So I could see Teradata is also a beautiful technology and database, right?
It's very
For
good actually.
processing the
Once upon a
data and
time, it
mm,
ruled the market.
right.
But still,
Uh,
see, Snowflake is far, far, far faster than this guy, Teradata.
okay. Yeah.
Performance is too good actually.
Okay, sure. Yeah, we'll get to know more on this.
And that too,
So I
Teradata is
have that
on-premise, right?
basic.
We don't have any cloud actually.
Yep. Correct.
That is all. That is also one of the benefit. And cost-wise also, Snowflake is very cheap compared to Teradata.
Sure. And you're going to cover the Python. You said Python is a pre-class, right? So
Yes,
after
yes.
completing this course, you used to start the course or parallelly?
Parallelly, that
Can
will happen parallelly. Python will happen parallelly.
okay, okay. Some other guy used to take that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi Shiva, this is Venkatesh.
Yeah, Venkatesh. Yeah.
Shiva, I wanted to ask, like, for data engineers, you need to have Spark knowledge, right? So, are
Yes,
you going to
yes.
teach Spark explicitly, or
Yes.
you are going to
Not
do something
explicitly
else?
actually. Whatever the knowledge is required for the project, that I've already recorded the sessions for the Spark, PySpark. I'm going to share that recordings. Only DSL commands part.
Okay.
And if
So,
you're more
like,
interested about the Spark, exclusive Spark, right? I'm also taking Databricks. I'm also running the Databricks patches, which I'm going to announce in the next month. You can join in that course as well.
okay. So, usually for data engineers, right, when they send out the job descriptions and all, they mention Spark
Yes,
explicitly.
that's what
Like,
I
so,
mentioned. That's
yeah.
what I mentioned.
So,
It's better to have
yeah,
Spark
yeah.
knowledge
Yeah,
always.
so after doing this course, can I apply for roles that are based on Snowflake, or can I apply for all the data engineer roles? Like,
Data engineer
that's
role
what I
especially.
want.
Snowflake also you can apply. Spark also to some extent you can apply, and data engineer role also you can apply. No problem with that.
So just like with this Snowflake and ADF knowledge, I can apply for any data engineer roles, right?
Yeah, enough. Because you'll be getting data warehouse knowledge, that is with the Snowflake, and you'll be getting ETL knowledge, that is with the ADF, and you'll be getting the data processing, that is Spark knowledge. You are most eligible for the data engineer. You're more eligible for the data engineering role.
And do we touch upon Hadoop in this course?
No. If I start teaching all those things, right, it will the course will extend for 4 to 5 months. I can teach. I have taken that classes as well. I've conducted the workshops as
So,
well on
like,
that one.
so for data engineer role, do we need
No,
Hadoop
that is
knowledge?
separate course actually. I'm planning that one as well. Not now at this point of time. I don't want to include that one with the Snowflake, because if I start include that one, it will extend up to 4 to 5 months. Okay. If you want, I can take it separately.
So, like, what I'm asking, right? So, for interview purpose, do we need Hadoop?
No. You don't need to have any Hadoop knowledge. Spark knowledge is enough.
Oh.
Hadoop, you need to have at least basics. That I can give you. Don't worry.
Okay. So, are we going
Basic
to
means
cover the
architecture, at
basics?
least architecture, how they used to manage before this cloud. That and all knowledge you need to have. Basic, very basic.
So, is it covered in this course, or is it
No,
separate? Do
not
we need
covered,
to?
not covered, not covered.
Okay, we need to study upon that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Hey Shiva.
Hey.
Actually, I'm not from IT background. I don't know anything about this software and all. I'm new to this. See how good I can understand your course. That's my question.
I would say that people who are getting into the market first time, I would say that you have to have the knowledge on the SQL.
Yeah, I had a
And
basic knowledge of Postgres.
at least, yeah, at least one SQL knowledge is more than enough.
Okay.
With that SQL knowledge, you can easily learn the Snowflake, but you have to focus this continuous 3 months. You have to focus.
Okay.
then you can get into the market very easily.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other question, guys? Yeah, if no questions, we can wind up, guys. Thank you. Tomorrow we'll meet at the same time. Thank you, guys. Thanks for your time.